Hi, my name's Tori. I'm a graduate student here at Stony Brook University in the Marine Conservation and Policy program. I'm also the website and social media content creator. I had the opportunity to interview Oliver Shipley, a professor and researcher here at Stony Brook. Please stay tuned to see more.
I'm originally from York in the UK, and I did my undergraduate and master's degree at the University of Newcastle, which is in the northeast of England. My undergraduate degree is in marine biology, and then my master's degree is in international marine environmental consultancy. I did my Ph.D. at Stony Brook as well. During the sort of final year of my undergraduate degree, I had the opportunity to go and do sort of a study abroad program in a really small family island of the Bahamas called Eleuthera. That was my first opportunity to get some hands-on experience working with sharks. Prior to that point, I'd never had any sort of experience with working with sort of sharp live animals. I would say that's sort of where my passion for marine science more generally sort of kick-started. So it was a really sort of defining experience for me. I was in a beautiful area of the world working with these amazing animals, and I knew from that moment that I wanted to sort of pursue a career that involved sharks in some way. Working in the Bahamas, there was sort of an international group of researchers that was cycling through a real mixing pot of people from all over the world. But I interacted with a lot of American sort of professors and graduate students, and was sort of enticed by the opportunity and the rigor of sort of the US. So the MCP program reminds me a lot of the master's program that I took back in the UK. It was sort of an accelerated degree in some ways because there was a lot of classes, sort of a little bit of research experience, but you did everything in a year, sort of similar to the MCP program. I think one of the most valuable things about the MCP program at Stony Brook is that it gets people jobs. We have a track record. If you look at all of the MCP alumni over the years that the course has been run, the vast majority of people gain employment in their field of interest. And I think it also brings together lots of people, sometimes at lots of different career stages, so it's not just students that are fresh out of undergraduate, it's people that are coming from industry that want to start environmental consultancy businesses or other businesses that want to acquire sort of fundamental understanding of marine systems. It's a real good mixing pot of lots of different people, but I think personally, one of the most important aspects of it is the network that the students get, the sort of diversity of people that they interact with across lots of different disciplines and sectors, their increased chances of gaining employment because of that. But there's also the whole sort of research track. If students are not sort of as eager to go and do an internship, that they can do a capstone research project with a faculty at Stony Brook, and they can also gain 3 months worth of research experience as well. So for those students that are wondering, do I want to go and do an MS or a PhD degree, the MCP program is another really good way to sort of get their feet wet and decide whether or not they enjoy doing research. All of our faculty are really invested in the MCP program. The steering committee is a group of faculty who are tasked with the evolution of MCP and keeping everything up to date, I would say, with the state of the art, the state of the science. We also are involved with the admissions process as well, so we review all of the files and get to send good news to all of the students that apply. And we also deal with all of the recruitment events as well, so we provide as much information as possible to all of the students that are interested in taking the MCP program. We're also sort of tasked with developing aspects of the program. So if there are components of the current program that students either are not enjoying or are not as well subscribed, we collectively help the program to evolve and to make sure that students are enjoying the program but also gaining those skills that they need to become employed or pursue a research track in today's world. As of literally a few weeks ago, we're sort of excited to announce that we're going to be taking the field course down to the Bimini Biological Field Station It's a lab that's been around for several decades. Bimini is a really small island, 50 miles east of Fort Lauderdale, home to lots of different species of shark. We're currently working on the new curriculum to take the students down there for 8 to 9 days in the winter of 2026. The dates of the class are geared towards when the MCP students are not in session, so we specifically choose those dates because that's when we know that the MCP students can go. Yes, it's academic, and yes, there are lots of sharks involved in it, but I think it's been a very character-shaping experience for a lot of the students that have taken it previously, and I have a collection of quotes from students that have taken previous courses, and they all seem to really enjoy it and have all gone on to pursue internships and jobs in various sort of marine related aspects. It also provides the students with an opportunity to network with researchers and people that are a couple of years ahead of them in some cases, like career wise. So it could provide a really important step or an opportunity to go and do a longer internship somewhere like that in the future. A lot of the work that we're doing at Stony Brook is sort of trying to understand how different species of shark interact with one another, how they interact with their environment, so under which environmental conditions do they really need to sort of succeed and persist, how that has changed or is changing over time, and what are the implications of things like climate change, so warming sea surface temperatures, changing ocean currents, changing distributions of prey, what that means for the health, reproductive success, and the movements where these animals are going to stop showing up and start showing up. In order to answer those questions, we use several different approaches. We use something called telemetry. We are putting transmitters either on or inside of animals and tracking their horizontal and vertical movements for anywhere up to 10 years for a given individual. And we've been tracking probably 400 to 500 individuals throughout the coast of Long Island all the way down to as far north as Canada and as far south as Florida and the Bahamas. We also use some pretty specialized biochemical techniques. So we're looking at chemical properties of tissues like muscle tissue and blood to understand physiological condition. And we can also use those sort of biochemical techniques to understand sort of dietary preferences, the ultimate sources of productivity that are supporting different species of shark, their sort of functional role and plasticity while they're here in New York and potentially throughout the rest of the year as well. We're really sort of layering on multiple tools to sort of try and uncover the hidden lives of sharks while they're in New York, because we really have a sort of fundamentally poor understanding of that group of animals. My lab and my students are all sort of tackling multiple angles and multiple questions on different species within that. When anybody asks me about the ways that you can be a supportive advisor or mentor to students, the first thing I always say is give students the freedom to make mistakes. You don't learn as well or as much when everything goes right all the time. And in research, things go wrong often more than they go right. It provides a very, very important learning opportunity for students, so long as everybody's safe and doing what they're doing. Giving students the freedom to make mistakes and not feel really guilty about making them and just sort of seeing those opportunities as learning opportunities, I think is sort of fundamentally like at the core of my philosophy. I really enjoy opening doors and providing opportunities for my immediate graduate students, but any student that is sort of interested in the work that I do or work that I'm sort of even tangentially involved in. So I've written many letters of support for students that have gone on to do shark internships and stuff like that. But I think being kind, compassionate, collegial, providing opportunities, and like I said before, giving people the freedom to make mistakes, I think will set you up, in most cases for success.